What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis here, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are here for the UBL Season 3 Round 1 Playoffs Team Builder versus Rewt and his team with the New Jersey Brobats. And we are back again with the Team Builders video, even though I haven't done them in a couple of past weeks in the UBL Season 3. But I figured that once we get into the playoffs, I want to bring them back because how much in stake over here, obviously due to the fact that either we win and move on to the next round or we lose and then the season will be ending there. So I figured that this is the final shots that I'm gonna be having to make these team builder videos, and hopefully you're gonna be enjoying as I break down the matchup that we have in hand, what kind of game plan I have going into it and all that good stuff. And then on the following day, and today being Saturday, tomorrow on the Sunday, we're gonna be uploading the battle from both of our behalves. Hopefully I will attempt to do mine at least on Sunday, and hopefully Rewt is able to do that as well from his behalf in itself. And speaking of that, his YouTube channel link will be down below in this description, of course. Big shoutouts to SlackOut yet again for the graphics work that he was able to provide for me for the team builder layout as usual. So his YouTube channel link and Twitter account links will be down below in the description. Make sure to check him out. He's a very cool guy and being very helpful for me in that regard, which I've been mentioning in the past, so make sure to do that. So regards to the matchup itself, the team of 6 that I'm gonna be bringing, you can already see on the screen, and when it comes to my roster, you can see right below my face cam, the C captains were Greninja and Moltres on my roster respectively, and when it comes to my opponent, his C captains are Noivern and Nihilego respectively, which I have to prepare for having access to C moves in itself. So we are gonna be starting the team builder in itself, breaking down my SilverBeanie, the Savior, which is gonna be running Light Clay on it with Energy Balls, Stealth Rocks, Recover and Light Screen, with a spread that is there for melee to be able to live a Adamant U-turn from a Sarena if it happens to be Choice Scout like it was week 9 versus me. So we can leave that after Stealth Rocks, and then we have good amount of speed investment there compared that I ran last time, which was on the week 9, because something that both of us are potentially taking consider is the fact that after the week 9 battle was done, we did share Poke Paste from each other's teams and kind of talked afterwards about the matchup in itself and how we kind of viewed the matchup itself back then. And we didn't know that we end up playing each other. It was just a casual talk after the game in itself, how it went and how we prepared for it in itself. But he was able to see once I shared my team that I did have this amount of speed investment on my SilverBeanie and Gliscor, for example. So off the chance he's gonna be taking note from that and try to speak with that kind of speed investment that I ran, I'm gonna be bumping it quite a bit for this matchup to make sure that if he tries to do that, he won't be able to do it successfully in that sense. So the spread in itself is kind of simple in that regard, what it's there for, but the moveset in itself and the idea behind Light Clay is something that I want to cover on a little bit more, because it's more meaningful how this set is, how it is going to be, and hopefully gonna be a big factor to our win. So the Stealth Rocks are there to provide me the necessary 12% of chip on his ones that I noticed throughout my cogs as I was doing that I actually need Stealth Rocks chip to be able to ensure some O-cost after I'm able to get up into +2 attack with either Mega Gallade and Scissor, which you're gonna be seeing that I cover next, that both of them are running Sword Dance. So because how the damage cogs were doing versus certain mons, there were scenarios that I needed that extra 12% of chip, so that is why we have to run Stealth Rocks on SilverBeanie this week. And I didn't decide to bring any of my rockers for this matchup, because other rockers that I had, all of them are weak to Azumarill Stab, and that was one thing that I noticed last time that I kind of already noticed when I was doing the week 9 team builder, but I thought I would be okay dealing with the Azumarill, but I didn't respect enough to the fact that how freely it was able to come in versus the team of 6 that I brought last time, and with the Choice Bandit set it was able to basically claim a kill every single time when I wasn't positioned properly versus it. So I had to kind of take that to the account, that team of 6 that I decide to bring and which mons I pick and what kind of move they have to run on them if I bring them. So I had to make that something that I have to consider in a way, that which rocker I will bring, and SilverBeanie end up being the best option for that, because it can beat the Azumarill and it can provide those stealth rocks that I really noticed that I really needed for this matchup. Then we have the energy ball to make sure that this can also function as a failsafe to a belly drum Azumarill. After it's gone for the belly drum in itself, we should be able to kill it after it's taken the 50% of health from itself after going for belly drum, and then get the citrus berry health back from it after eating it. So energy ball should be able to kill it after that. And then we decide to go with the light clay as its item and the light screen as the last remaining of move, which is gonna be there for 8 turns ideally, as long as I have the light clay intact when I have gone for that move. And the reason why I went for that light clay is the fact that I noticed that his team is very specially orientated regards to his offense and the physical attackers that he has. Yes, Azumarill is a huge threat and I would have loved to have Reflect on this, but I didn't really have the move slots to fill it in as well, so I had to be making a decision between the one of those screens that are what I wanted to bring. And I decided that because how my team is designed to beat the Azumarill 1v1 as many things as possible, and how I can manage dealing with the Choice Cup Serena with my team, how I at least believe that I can, I figured that it's better for me to cover with one of my screens his special attackers, barring a Noivern with Infiltrator, which I have to keep in mind and see throughout the battle. If I do see that Mon does Frisk ability activated on it and he's able to intensify the item that my Mon happens to be out versus it, or does it not activate. If it doesn't activate, then I'm pretty sure it's going to be 100% the Infiltrator ability, which are of course gonna ignore, substitute all potential screens at being a thing, and I cannot fall into that trap and expect to live a hit and then be like, oh, why didn't I live that hit, and then be like wet potato about the situation in itself. So hopefully that doesn't come into play. But versus any of the other special attacking threats, and because of the fact that his only defogger is that Noivern, and all of his mons that can learn Brick Break, I don't necessarily see them having to run that versus me for the fighting type coverage, because they should either have better move to fill that fighting type coverage with, they get like a stronger coverage move on the same typing, or they already have access to some other coverage move, like Necrozma's for example. It ran like a Heat Wave and Earth Power for my Alola Mach and Celebi and Scizor for example, so I didn't really need like a fighting type coverage versus my team, and my team is not that fighting weak necessarily, so I don't see him having a need to bring Brick Break on it, on any of his mons that have access to it. And I honestly don't expect the Noivern to have defog. So ideal situation in an ideal world throughout the battle, once I get the light screen up, it's there for the 8 turns, and hopefully it's gonna be helping my other members of the team to live their hits from his special attacks a lot better. And then we have the Mega Gallade, which is gonna be Adamant Nature, enough speed to outspeed this is there to outspeed his Nihilego after I've been able to knock off his Choice Card potentially, or his any other monster that are speed creeping modest Moltres in itself, that I noticed that was his premier speed tier mark that he tried to hit versus me. So this is there to kind of read off from that and be able to have the proper speed tier versus him based on that how he prepared versus me. And then we have enough special defense that we can live a Hurricane from a Noivern after Stealth Rocks, barring being a boosting item on it, or it's gonna be a C-move or anything like that, or I have taken prior damage, etc. So that is the bulk investment that we have. And then we have the Adamant Nature and the attack investment, so that in +2 we will OHKO a max HP Necrozma even with 4 defense on it, like he ran last time. Because in case you didn't see the last battle, he did run like a max HP Necrozma with Autotomize, and then he had a little bit of a defense investment on both of his defenses and 4 IVs on his speed, which ensured the fact that he was able to outspeed at +2 max speed Timid Greninja. So I took that into consideration as I made this set. So if he happens to bring a similar spread or actually the same exact set, I can OHKO that thing from full with a knockoff in itself, unless he changes his item to Cobbleberry of course, or change his spread further from that. But even then I have Stealth Rock support from Celebi just in case if he adds a little bit more bulk to it than he had last time. Then we had the Poison Jab to hit the dual fairy types that he has, and one of the reasons that it's there is For example, for the Azumarill being a huge threat, so I wanted the Mega Glade be able to hit that as well. And we do at least do 50% minimum to a Clefable of the chance it shows up that it didn't do last time. And after its leftovers are being knocked off, or I snatch the poison on it, I'm always two-shotting it even if it's unaware. So that is basically Mega Glade. And at +2, this is potentially a winning condition or a wall breaker versus him. And I decided to go Drain Punch as my fighting stat, because especially behind a light screen, he can really struggle to be able to kill this thing if I'm at +2, because I'm be able to always gain my health back whatever I'm killing in front of me, and then he's still trying to be figuring out that how does he actually kill this thing and how he's able to wear me down if I'm always attacking and gaining my health back through my fighting type stab. So that is basically the Mega Glade, either a wall breaker for mid and early game or be a potential winning condition in the back. And simultaneously, how Scissor is gonna be functioning is basically the same idea. Like those two mons being this Scissor and the Mega Glade, I have to kind of intensify like which one of those two will be my winning condition based on the team of 6 that he brings and based on the battle is gonna be, and hopefully one of them can break his team down for the other one have easier time. And that's basically the mindset that I decided to go with. This kind of sets between these two, and we are gonna be running Metal Coat on the Scissor as its item. So at +2 or at +4, I do get the kills that I want. At +2, I should be able to kill the Azumarill after Stealth Rocks guaranteed, or it's a very high chance to do so. And at +4 with the Metal Coat as well still being attacked, we should be able to all-coat the Necrozma as well. Whereas the other scenarios, if I don't have the Metal Coat on this as its item, I would be failing to do so. That is why we have it in there. Then we have the knockoff there to be able to utilize it as a middle ground play and be able to also hit the resistor. I didn't feel like I need like Brick Break necessary to hit the resistor or Superpower, even though it would be doing obviously a lot more. But I wanted to have the knockoff because I can remove his items, remove some sort of leftovers from resistor if I feel like it's not worth to go into +2 at that moment. If I'm versus it, I can knock out something like a Spiritomb on switching, which means that it's gonna be losing its way of recovering through leftovers that he relied on last time, and that can play huge dividends for me in the long run. And then we of course have the Sword Dance there to be able to set up ourselves to be able to do more damage as a breaking set, or be able to sweep through his team as we are able to set up further enough. And then we have Roost for be able to recover and set up easier versus things like Serena or Resistor respectively. And then I also have the bulk investment to make sure that we live after Stealth Rocks a Choice Banded liquidation from a Azumarill. So we have a lot of ways to deal with the Azumarill so far, and you're gonna be noticing that that's a primary focus for this team to be able to deal with it as best as possible. And it's gonna be showcasing either with the moves that I run or with the spreads that I'm gonna be running. And then the fourth member of the team is gonna be Bob the Alola Mark with the Figgy Berry set with Careful Nature, with enough special defensive bulk that Hurricane, like a raw Hurricane into a Sea Hurricane won't be OHKOing this thing after Stealth Rocks, even if I don't happen to have my Figgy Berry yet intact. For example, if I eaten it earlier and I haven't had the room or turn to recycle it back, or I haven't to lose it somehow like I lost it last game. So I can still live those two combination of hits, and we still run Knockout, Poison Jab, Clear Smog, and then recycle on it. And then we have a little bit of defense investment for what it's worth, a little bit of speed investment if he happens to bring Resistil this time around without any kind of speed investment to it. And then on that scenario, so I would not be speed tying with it, and I do actually outspeed it, but I didn't want to invest more on it, because if he runs speed investment on it, he's probably gonna be investing more than I would be willing to do versus him. So that is basically Bob there. It's a very good natural check to set up Clefable and Necrozma. That is why we run the Clear Smoke over there. And then it's just a very good special sponge naturally versus things like the Raikou, the Noivern, and things like that. It can beat them down really well. Even Nihilego, this thing can beat 1v1 if necessary. So it's just a mod that he, one, has very hard time switching into if he doesn't bring Alola Not Alolamag. I have the Alolamag, but if he doesn't bring his Mega Evolution beat in Mega Camelot, he doesn't really have the greatest switching into me. Some things can take one hit from it for sure, but in the progress they're gonna be more likely losing their passive recovery, and that's mainly towards the things like the Resistive and Spiritomb, for example, which most likely are going to be relying on their item being leftovers to be able to recover their health by any amount based on the damage that they are having to take. And then the fifth member of the team is gonna be Habanberry holding Venom the Dragalsi, making its another appearance after not showing up in a couple of weeks. But I wanted to decide to bring the Dragalsi even though he brought Resistive versus me last time. And there's a good chance for him to do that yet again, which Dragalsi is hard walled by, especially the set that I'm running. But I wanted to bring a mon that can either lure into Noivern and kill it, it can outspeed the Necrozma and potentially two-shot it, and as long as he doesn't attack me I can do that. And primary reason is the fact that I wanted to bring a mon that is not necessarily beaten by the Azumarill 1v1. That was one of the biggest reasons why I want to bring Dragalsi. And it can also function as a semi-switching to something like a Spiritomb, even though he ran like a Hidden Power Ice last time for my Gliscor, and that would be a super effective hit. Dragalsi doesn't really care about that hit at all because to its special defense that it has naturally, and because of the bulk that I also run on it, we do have a lot of speed investment to ensure that we outspeed even a max speed Adamant Azumarill, and we have enough special attack investment so we can OHKO the Azumarill speed that he ran versus me last time, even from full with this Sludge Wave in itself. So this Dragalsi here doesn't have a one specific role besides the fact to be a switching to Spiritomb, but it can do a lot of work in a sense that it can kill the Azumarill 1v1 if he thinks that he can outspeed me and not think that I'm timid or running this amount of speed investment in general on it. And it can potentially learn in Noivern, which would be huge for something like Mega Gallade, because Mega Gallade never wants to deal with it because the light screen might necessarily help it if it has Infiltrator. And my Scizor potentially, unless I'm having +2 on it, it cannot beat the Noivern because it's gonna be more likely running Flamethrower on it. So instead of having to rely on Bob purely for it, or my final member of my team to take a hit and kill it back, I still have the Habanberry potentially intact on this thing to kill the Noivern and have it out of my hair if it happens to show up. So Noivern can do a lot of things even though it's not necessary key for any specific thing in itself. So that is basically why we have Dragalsi in there, and the final member of the team is gonna be Poisonium Z, fully physical attacking Greninja with the Water 4 Ice Punch, Gong Shot and U-turn with Jolly Nature with enough speed investment to speed creep a Choice Scarf Adamant Serena that he ran versus me last time, with a good amount as well if he tries to add a little bit more speed onto it than he ran on it last time. And we do also live a Draco Meteor from Noivern after Stealth Rocks, and that is why we have the special defense in there. And then we have enough attack investment that 81% of time we should kill a Noivern that is speed creeping Greninja, speed creeping Raikou, if that makes enough sense for you all. So that is going to be the Greninja, and with the Poisonium Z Gong Shot, we should OHKO even like a max HP Azumarill after Stealth Rocks, and without Stealth Rocks we can still kill it if it's not like max HP, for example. So that is going to be the team of 6 that we are gonna be bringing for the round 1 playoffs versus Rewt. And the primary goal with this team was that we are be able to beat the Azumarill as well as possible with as many things as we can, while at the same time one of these two members right here, either Mega Gallade or the Scizor with this Sword Dance up, can clean out the game in itself, or one of them has to break through the team so the other thing can win out the game in itself. So more aggressive and more offensive team that I tend to do so far throughout the regular season here in the UBL Season 3. But I have a good feeling that this team is probably the best one that I could have brought versus him, and we have to wait and see tomorrow that how it's gonna be turning out. Thank you all for watching, stay tuned for tomorrow, subscribe if you are new so you won't be missing out the battle versus Rewt in the round 1 playoffs here in the UBL Season 3, and until then, thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna be see you guys later.